that's how you end up with these components, and from these components you will manufacture them into various things, and of course you need a blueprint. And some of you may have been around to remember Tech 2 Blueprint originals, but very luckily they don't exist anymore, so we now have an entire topic to talk about called invention. And invention is how you make the blueprints, or more specifically the blueprint copies, because you can only invent copies, which will obviously run out because copies have a limited number of runs, of Tech 2 items. So if I look up in game, I can find a damage control to BPO. As you can see here, that's a dark blue, which means it's a blueprint original, and some of them do actually exist, for instance, but they're not sort of what you'll use. The current T2 BPOs are basically collector's items that sell for far too much, frankly, often multiple hundreds of billions. So if you look at this, no, wrong one, sorry, I need to find damage control 1 blueprint, because just like how every Tech 2 module is built from one of its Tech 1 cousin, sort of Tech 1 alternative, plus some other things, Invention makes a Tech 2 blueprint copy. Invention is like a science process, so just like how reactions have reaction slots, they go into science slots, which also involve ME research, T research, and copying. Invention is another sort of process, and it doesn't have really a blueprint, so to speak, but it's sort of similar. I will cover it all. If you look at Damage Control 1 blueprint, you look at a copy of it. So if I take this copy of a Damage Control 1 blueprint, I buy the BPO, I copy it, I can then invent it, and as you can see, the outcome is a Damage Control 2 blueprint, which I could then use to build these blueprints. And as you can see here, I brought along some Tech 2 blueprints of various types. You can see these are all the light blue, and some Tech 3s, but that's not part of this. They're all light blue. They're all copies. They all have... This has 10 runs, for instance. All of the weapons and things have 10 runs. All of the ships have 1, except for this one, because this was actually copied off the blueprint original ages ago. And so on and so forth. So, invention. So how does invention work? So just like I showed you before, if you look here, invention goes under science jobs. This guy doesn't have any of them, but I have other characters for that. And it's probably the most skill-intensive process in Tech 2. So if I were to go into the skills menu, under science, if I make a show all of them, every single one of these, with the exception of these weird technology ones at the very bottom, is sort of a science skill. They are all, let's see, 5Xs. Yes, I did remember. They're all 5Xs, so they're all very heavy trains, and you do need a lot of them to high numbers to do sort of decent things. So, like, science is a very heavy train. As you can see, the maximum skill point number is 48 million, which is a lot. And you do need to have very high numbers in there to do well with Tech 2, because it will actually directly affect your success, as we will see in the future. So the invention process is essentially, you take a Tech 2 blueprint copy, no, you take a Tech 1 blueprint copy, goddammit, and you turn it into a Tech 2 blueprint copy, except it's not that simple, and actually, well, a lot of people get salty about this, but there's actually a chance that it succeeds. So you essentially pay as in you have to give items as well as part of the process. You pay for a chance